Hey guys, one thing I want to take a look at real quick before we finish up this unit is a little bit more on populations and how populations grow, and that's something that we're going to take a quick look at today. So again, I'm going to need to be shrunk here, so I think if I click my fingers 3 times, that should cause me to shrink into this little box. I've done this once or twice before. It's magic. Alright, so let's see. We go 1, 2, 3. Oh. Never get tired of that. That just hurts every time I shrink into this little box. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a little bit of look at how some different populations can grow and what are some factors that affect population growth. So let's take a look at that real quick. The first one we're going to look at is this little growth curve right here that is exponential. It talks about the world population growth throughout history, and you can see there has been a significant change in the global population as we've reached the modern age, just a mere couple hundred years ago, in fact. You look at 7,000 BC, 6,000 BC, there were barely a couple million people on this planet. But all of a sudden, when we start reaching into the year 2000, even before then, in 18 and 1900s, with the modern age and the Industrial Revolution, a lot changed on the Earth in terms of healthcare, in terms of our ability to make food and find food, our ability to farm, and we can see that the population has increased significantly. It's increased exponentially. That is, as the population increases, the number of offspring that are produced increases as well. So we can see that the population was less than 1 billion people pretty much since the beginning of the Earth, and then about 150, 200 years ago, all of a sudden the population boomed, and now we're looking at a population that's close to 7.5 billion people on this planet. Now that's exponential growth. That is, the individuals within the population reproduce more as the population increases. So if we look here on the second chart that's labeled Figure 2, we can see the population size as well. With exponential growth, and you see between D and E on the chart there we see what is known as exponential growth. However, between E and F, that is what's known as logistic growth. That is when the growth starts to slow down because of limiting factors within the ecosystem, things like food becoming scarce, or land becoming scarce, or an increase in predators or diseases, something that will negatively impact the size of the population. So between D and E is exponential and E and F is logistic. And where you see the flat line there, that is known as the carrying capacity, or the number of organisms that a ecosystem can support indefinitely. So you can see a lot of the different principles of population ecology present here on this graph. If you look at the next one, which shows the deer population on Walla Walla Island, we see that the deer population had exponential growth between where there were 20 and nearly 100 individuals, but the population peaked out and then actually started to go down. That's because the number of individuals actually exceeded the carrying capacity. It looks like in this chart that the carrying capacity of Walla Walla Island for deer is about 80. So once it exceeded the population, or exceeded the carrying capacity, the population actually dropped. And as a result, you can see that the population hovers right around 80, which seems to be the appropriate carrying capacity. So I don't want you to think that once it reaches the carrying capacity, the changes and fluctuations in population stops. That's not the case. They're just less dramatic than that when they're below the carrying capacity of the ecosystem. One thing to keep in mind is the predator-prey relationship as well. And we can see here in this chart that the hares, which are in the black, and the lynx, which are in the red, have their populations fluctuate depending upon how many there are. As you can see, the hare population increases when there aren't very many lynx in the particular area, because the lynx eat the hare. That's the predator-prey relationship. But as soon as the hare population gets high, the lynx population follows it with a spike in population, which results in the hare population going down. Once the hare population goes down, the lynx have nothing to eat, so the lynx population goes down as well. So you can see that the predator population always follows the prey population in this particular chart. The prey population increases, as you can see, just after 1960. And then the predator population of the lynx increases around 1966 or so. But they follow each other. It's a trend that you see on this chart. One always follows the other. So hopefully now you understand a little bit more about populations and population ecology, logistic growth, exponential growth, and carrying capacity. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you later.